Hello and welcome everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar. We're going to wait just a couple of minutes for all the participants who sign up for today's session to join us, and then we will get started. Thank you for your patience. Whilst we wait for everyone to join, I'm very curious to know where our participants today are joining us from. So if you would like, I would like to invite you to type on the chat, which city are you joining us from, so that we learn more about you as much as we can in today's session. Today is going to be very interactive, and we would really like to hear your questions about Koç University and studying in Turkey. So whilst we wait for everyone to join, if you would like, you can use the chat button on your screen to let us know which city in Pakistan or outside of Pakistan you're joining us today. Okay, so we have Adil from Islamabad. Hello, Adil. Thank you for joining. Multan. Thank you so much, Hassan. Thank you for joining. Doha. Okay, very interesting. Great.
And Gujranwala also.
Gujranwala.
It's nice to see a mixture of cities and, different people joining from different parts of Pakistan.
Indeed. Thank you, Mahira, for attending. I think it's a good time to start now. So, yes, Miss Sarah.
Hello, everybody. I'm Zara Munif from AWM Study in Turkey. We are the exclusive representatives of Koç University in Pakistan. So we represent the Study in Turkey brand in Pakistan. And since the past 7-8 years, we have been promoting Turkish higher education. For us, it is a labor of love. We've lived in Turkey for around 4 years till we decided to come back home and promote Turkish education. We feel blessed to be collaborating with Koç University, which is Turkey's highest ranked university. So one common question that we always encounter is why Turkey? As this is the new name, I hope everybody knows that.
Right. Okay. So
why Turkey? Why should students choose to study in Turkey? We do have a lot of answers, but Melissa, I would like you to address this question.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Miss Sarah. And thank you so much also for helping us organize this activity. So there are several advantages to studying your undergraduate or your graduate education in Turkey. I'm still sticking to Turkey, but yes, the official name of the country is now Turkey. One of the main advantages, and please note that everything that you see on the screen as advantages is based on the feedback that we have received from our own international students who have joined us from different countries, including Pakistan. So one of the main reasons is that Turkey is part of the Bologna system of education in terms of the European Union. So it means that all of our universities, the way that they structure their study programs at university level are aligned, are in the same way of Europe. So this has advantages because as a student in a university in Turkey, you have the option of doing one or more semesters of your 4 years of a bachelor's or undergraduate program at a partner university in Europe as part of the Erasmus program. And the process is very simple in terms of transferring the credits that you complete in the other university back at your university in Turkey, such as Koç University. It also means that upon graduation, your diploma earned from a Turkish university is widely recognized and accepted by universities and employers in Europe and in other countries because it's under that system, okay? It's a European credit transfer system. The other main advantage is that you can study for the major that you're interested in, what you're passionate about, in English. So you do not have to learn Turkish in order to come as an international student to Turkey. If you wish to, of course, it's always an advantage to learn some Turkish to expand your social network, your opportunities for employment during your studies and after your studies. But in terms of the academic environments that you will be in a Turkish university, such as Koç, you only need to know English. You do not need to know Turkish. Then one of the main reasons why, thousands of international students choose to come to Turkey is that it offers a more affordable cost compared to more traditional destinations such as the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, some countries in Europe, even China. There has been, of course, an increase in living costs across the world. Nearly every country has been hit by, inflation problems. Turkey is no exception to that. But even then, again, compared to the US and the UK especially, costs of living in Turkey in cities like Istanbul, where Koç University is located, in terms of rent, food, health insurance, local transport costs are still much more affordable. Another reason is that the process to obtain a visa to enter Turkey are comparatively more simple in terms of the documentation required. And also, the processing of the visas has also been shortened in recent years, especially for students from Pakistan. So this is also an advantage that reduces the amount of anxiety or stress caused by knowing if you will be able to enter the country and get your visa on time. There's also a very extensive national scholarship program for international students, including Pakistani students, called Türkiye Bursları. That means Turkish scholarships. This allows you to study in state universities and some foundation private universities, such as Koç University, in different majors. Not all majors are covered by this scholarship, but the main benefit is that it covers all of your education costs for 4 years of an undergraduate degree. It's also available for master and PhD programs. And the only condition to that scholarship is that you do need to learn Turkish. That is the string that is attached to that opportunity. But still, it's a great advantage that not all countries offer. Finally, two very important things, and this is again based on feedback from our own students, my own experience. I was an international student in the UK at some point, and then I came to Turkey. I've been here for the past 12 years, and it's something definitely that makes a definite impact, a positive impact in your experience as an international student, which is Turkish hospitality is an actual thing. Istanbul in particular is a multicultural city, and people are normally very keen to support and help tourists and also international students. There have been, of course, some issues in the recent past which are not great, and they have been reported on social media. However, on the whole, it's still a very welcoming country where if you learn a little bit of Turkish just to survive and get around, it really pays off in terms of making friends, getting job opportunities and internship opportunities, and just having a great time during your time here. Istanbul is often, described as the bridge between the East and the West. And it's very hard to talk about it until you have been here and you have experienced what that means in terms of the mix of very, very modern and very, very historical settings that you're going to be spending your time in. So I don't want to go on about this because we have some really nice videos about this on our YouTube channel, on our website, that I invite you to check out if you're curious about the city itself, about Turkish people, about Turkish students. It's better if you watch it from their own mouths and the videos that we have put on our channel. So Sarah, let's continue.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on this, that Turkish hospitality is unparalleled. And as Pakistanis, we are pretty hospitable ourselves. So the way the Turks welcome Pakistanis, it's a completely different sentiment. They're like, we are not friends, we are brothers. So, you know, you go to shops and they give you discounts and they're welcoming you. That it's a great feeling to have that kind of feeling, especially when you are an 18, 19-year-old who's away from home. And you know, with the kind of family systems that we have, we are very close to our families. So even though we like to get independent, students do feel homesick. So this is something which is very, very important, to go to a country where you're welcomed. Another very important question for students is, what does Koç University have to offer to students, especially students from Pakistan, in terms of scholarships, in terms of future opportunities, and also in terms of the ranking of the university? Where does it stand in that capacity?
Great. So to answer that question, we do have some information to give you an overview of who we are as an institution and what type of students we're looking for, and how to help you decide if our university would be a good fit for what you want to study, how you want to study, and the type of benefits that we offer. So Koç University is a research-intensive private foundation university. In Turkey, we have state universities and we have private foundation universities. Foundations because they have to operate as non-for-profit. This is by law. So Koç University is one of those universities. So we are a small university within the context of Turkey. We have now reached about 8,000 students between undergraduate and graduate programs. 10% of all of our students are international. So we're very proud to have achieved that kind of goal that we had set for ourselves. Those international students are coming from 80 plus countries. What we are aiming to do, what our team specifically aims to do, is to continually increase the number of countries that are represented in our student body, so that you as students from Pakistan, for example, will benefit from interacting in your classroom environments with students from Europe, from Asia, from Latin America, from the Middle East, from Africa, from all over the world. That's our aim here. Those could be, for example, full-time students, or also exchange students who are coming here as, you know, for one semester on an exchange partnership. Now, the real secret to the sauce of Koç University, and why you will see we have done very well in terms of our position in worldwide rankings in a short time because our university, this year is turning 30 years old. So we're still a very young institution in the context of course, much higher ranked universities in Europe and in the US. The secret to the sauce, as I was saying, it's our professors, our faculty members. So we have just over 500 faculty members, and I will show you in the next slide where they have obtained their academic training and PhD degrees from, and where they have experience in terms of teaching and research. And this is what really makes this university what it is. Here, what we're trying to be and to continue being is a center of excellence. So that means excellence in research, excellence in teaching, excellence in community engagement and service to the community. We mean, Istanbul, Turkey, but also worldwide. So everything we do is about those three things, and excellence as the guiding principle. We offer, this is not different from highly ranked universities, but what we offer is a very personalized boutique experience where you have a very small faculty student ratio, so that your class environments, your classrooms are small, and you are closely supervised by faculty members, by professors, especially as you progress from the first year into the second, third, and fourth year of your studies. And each student, for example, has an academic advisor that's assigned to them from the first year to help them on matters of choosing majors, minors, doing an exchange, course selection, and so on. We are structured in a very similar way to a US university. So we don't have many US students. We do, but not, of course, not a huge percentage. But if, for example, you're curious about the experience of going to a US university, besides living in the US, but the US academic environment of a US university, Koç University offers something very similar. In terms of English medium of education, we're structured in colleges. We offer 4-year undergraduate programs. The way that courses are taught, evaluated, and assessed, the way that we seek feedback from students, the extracurricular opportunities, they're very, very similar to what you would find in a US university of this kind, a research-intensive private university. As I said, we are a research-intensive university, so we put a lot of resources and time and effort in providing the best infrastructure and the best opportunities for our students to get a taste of research from very early on. You don't need to wait until you're a master or a PhD student to get immersed and become passionate about research. That's what Koç University is offering you. After your first year, once you've had a chance to familiarize yourself with the professors and the courses and what you're starting to be interested in, you can join one of our 200 plus research labs or centers as a research assistant. Okay, this gives you an opportunity to really explore the things and the topics and the questions that you are curious about, and that may lead you or put you on a path to a very good career after graduation if you're interested in academia or in research. Sorry, let me just, okay. Now, regarding scholarships, one question that Ms. Sarah was asking, this is something that we're extremely proud that 70% of our international students, this is the statistics from the fall 2022 cohort, we will be updating this very soon, they receive some type of merit scholarship support, partial. That means either 75%, 50%, or 25% merit scholarship. Those merit scholarships are for the duration of the study. So it means that if you're offered admission at Koç University with, for example, a 50% tuition scholarship, it's until you graduate. You do not need to be reapplying for that scholarship every year, so that is a relief compared to the system offered by some US universities. It cannot be increased after you join. That's something to keep in mind. Even if your academic performance is brilliant, if you have a 4.0 GPA and you're involved in lots of campus activities, the scholarship that you enter with at the university is what you will graduate with, okay? So this is kind of us in a glance. Again, I want to emphasize the role of our professors because they are really the ones who make a difference in students' lives in terms of the quality of teaching that they will receive during their classes, but also one of your questions, Sarah, which was about the opportunities after graduation. A lot of that is a combination of the relationships that our students establish with these professors, because they're the ones who can recommend them to graduate programs, to employers, write letters of reference to the best programs around the world. But also our Career Development Center plays an important role here because they start to advise students from the first year. People here don't wait until they're about to graduate to ask, where should I apply? What should I do? Should I have done an internship? I mean, people are kind of indoctrinated in how to develop and design their careers from the first year. During the orientation week, the Career Center is one of the first teams that it's there to make their services available to students and for students to make use of those opportunities. Most of our students have completed at least 2 internships before they graduate. For some programs like business administration, the average is actually higher, about 4 internships, short-term and long-term internships. Only for engineering, they're mandatory, but it is a culture of actually starting to develop professional skills before graduation. And we're also very proud of the fact that when we make a survey of our graduates and we ask them 2 years after they have graduated, where are you? What are you doing? What was your career kind of path after and just before graduation and after graduation? We find that I think the latest statistics will be published or have been published soon. Close to 90% of our students have a job offer before graduation or within the first 3 months. Most of the survey respondents, of course, are Turkish students. Out of our international students, the statistics are also very positive, but not statistically significant yet. That's why we have to always give this kind of caveat. As you can see on the screen, just to wrap up, our academic staff, most of them have received their PhD degrees and they have teaching and research experience at some of the best universities in the world, such as Oxbridge, Ivy League universities in the US, from world top 100 universities across the world, especially from the US. We have a very heavy US bias in terms of our academic kind of environment, as I said. Some from Australia, but that's who is going to be teaching you. And I invite you to start checking the programs you're interested in, because in each program you will see who are the faculty members. When you click on their pictures and their faces, You can see their CVs, their background, their Google Scholar page, and you can explore more about who they are, their graduate students. That gives you an idea of the quality that we're offering at the university.
If you're done, I'd like to just continue with my question. I think, this is something very positive about the university, because our students are traditionally very brilliant from Pakistan. They are doing exceptionally well. And they are looking at high-ranked university, which is why we want to promote Koç in Pakistan, because we feel that the US universities have become so expensive that Koç is much more affordable, and then you get the same quality of education and this research ethic, which is the foundation of US universities, is something that has been adopted by Koç University as well. So obviously it's a win-win situation for our students. I just have a request. There's a question also. If we can quickly take them through the slide where there's a list of your programs that are being offered. Yes.
Great. Yes, it's just after that. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. So I mentioned before that we are structured around 7 colleges. These are the 7 colleges that you see on the screen in bold font. And then the program names that you see on bullet points, those are undergraduate programs that have a duration of 4 years and are offered in English. The only program that it's longer than 4 years, it's medicine, which awards an MD degree, and it's obtained in 6 years. That program is offered in English, but that's the only program where you, and as well as nursing, where you do have to learn Turkish from the start, not to apply, not to be admitted, but once you enroll as a student, you have to start learning Turkish fairly quickly, because by the 4th year, it's when you start having clinical courses at the Koç University Hospital. It's a brand new hospital that was open in, well, not so new anymore, 2016. And that's where you need to start using that Turkish in order to interact with patients. And it's a requirement. So there are a lot of benefits to studying medicine, but one kind of small challenge is that you will need to learn an additional language, which is Turkish, in a fairly short amount of time. We will provide resources to do that through elective courses without additional cost. And there's, of course, ways to learn that independently. But it is, it is an extra layer of pressure for international medicine students, because medicine by itself, it's a very high pressure kind of major. And in addition to that, learning Turkish in parallel can be a bit too much. So it's something to consider very carefully before deciding to apply. Otherwise, for example, we have Pakistani students who are now in our College of Engineering, for example, in computer engineering, in electrical and electronics engineering. We have also Pakistani students in our College of Science in molecular biology and genetics, in administrative sciences and economics, in programs such as business administration, economics. We have very few Pakistani students in social sciences and humanities, which is a shame, because it's an area that I think has a very bright future career-wise going forward. But it's somewhere where we are looking for very bright students as well. So, yeah.
For as far as medicine is concerned, learning Turkish, our advice to all students is to learn the language. And as Ms. Melissa said initially as well, that it is definitely a huge plus to learn the language. And then as a medicine student, since you have to interact with people at the hospital, the patients, you need to know the language. But having said that, I'm a student of Turkish myself. It's not a very difficult language to learn, because as Urdu speakers, we do have a lot of similarities with Turkish. So it's something we can catch on to. And while you're living there and studying there, it's definitely something that you could do. Melissa Hanum, how do students get there? What is the procedure? How to apply? This is something that they'd like to know.
Great. Yeah. So I'll skip some information here quickly to get here. Right. So yeah, how to become a Koç student. So we follow a very similar process to US universities. We have only one intake in the year, which is for the fall. The fall in Turkish universities means it's at the end of September or early October. The calendar is set not by universities individually, but by the Higher Education Council of Turkey. There is no spring or winter intake at Turkish universities for undergraduate programs, so you should keep that in mind. We open our applications in January every year and close in July for a regular application period. And then we have a late application period that runs until the end of August. For medicine, the application period, it's shorter. It's from May to July. All of this information, of course, it's on our website, which you can see on screen. It's international.ku.edu.tr. And there is an application fee. Now, the admission process, besides the total time it takes from the moment you submit your application until you hear back from the university, whether you have been accepted or not, and the conditions of that acceptance, it's approximately 4 to 6 weeks. So in the best of cases, in a month, you know if you have been admitted or not. In the worst case scenario, you have to wait a month and a half. The main thing to remember here, though, is that the university conducts the evaluation of candidates in a holistic and selective way. Selective in the sense that they want to admit only the best students from each country and who can provide something besides their academic preparedness for university, that they can also add something to our campus life, whether that's a specific talent you have, a sports that you play, a specific hobby that you are very into, and you can provide, you can join specific student clubs at the university who are into the same hobby, or anything that you can offer the university is always a plus. And holistic in the sense that the decision to admit a student is made by the college. So, for example, if you're interested in studying engineering, it's the College of Engineering, it's a committee who decides on that. And they don't decide on the basis of one element like your SAT test score or your IB diploma predicted scores or your A-level predicted scores. It's based on everything, all the information you have provided on your application. So what are the things that you have to provide in that application? It's all online. So a standardized university admission exam or diploma score, I can show just after what are the minimum scores. Your official high school transcripts that show your performance over the past 3 years of high school in terms of your grades. And depending on the program, for example, for engineering, they pay a lot of attention to your maths and physics subject scores because they want to make sure that you are prepared to cope and understand quickly the content and the material that will be covered in the first and second semesters of the program. Also, an English proficiency exam result. We know, of course, students in Pakistan are fluent in English. However, it is a requirement of the Higher Education Council of Turkey to provide either a TOEFL IBT test score or a Pearson test of English. IELTS, unfortunately, is not accepted by the Higher Education Council of Turkey. Some universities in Turkey are able to accept it, but we don't want to break any rules, so we are not doing that. That is a bit of a disadvantage about applying to Koç, that you cannot use an existing IELTS test score you may have. You do need to provide either a TOEFL or a Pearson test of English. Another important thing, the next 3 items on this list are a motivation letter, which explains why you want to study a specific major, why at Koç University, and what specific skills or preparation you feel you have that will make you a successful student at our university. 2 recommendation letters. Typically, these are from your university counselor in your high school and another teacher, or 2 teachers, or people who have supervised you if you have done internships outside of school. The combination, it's up to you, but they should be people who can provide good recommendations on your behalf. And there is a video interview, which is not live, it's recorded, and it's not a knowledge-based interview. So, it's more about for one thing, to kind of check your oral proficiency in English against the scores that are reported on the test scores, but also to kind of see the way you think about topics. So it's not going to ask you math questions or physics questions or biology questions. It's more about, what was the last book that you read? What type of role do you play in team projects? Why do you want to study a specific major? Why, these are the type of questions that you can expect. Those are the main kind of things. What takes time for students to prepare, of course, is the standardized admission exams such as SAT or ACT, or to, prepare the documents for their predicted scores, either on IB or A-level grades. Now, in terms of what are minimum scores, the key thing to remember here is that they're minimum. We also have on our website information about the average scores obtained by the students who were offered admission from the previous years. We will be updating this part of our website in the next month with data from the students who entered this year, this fall, 2023. And it's a good guide for you to see, well, if I'm interested in business administration or in medicine or in engineering or psychology, what should be the scores that I should be aiming to obtain in order to have a good chance of admission at Koç University. So in SAT, you know, they range from 1,200 to 1,450. What's written there, for example, the highest one is for medicine. The minimum score there is 1,450. For engineering is 1,300. For business, social sciences, nursing, it's 1,200. But again, having the minimum score or just above the minimum does not automatically mean that you will be offered admission, because the admission committees will take a look at your recommendation letters, motivation letters, and so on to decide on acceptance or rejection. In terms of IB or A-level scores, you can see on the screens, again, for IB final or predicted scores, they range from 30 to 38, depending on which college you're applying to. And for A-levels, usually you should provide at least 3 A-levels with grades A or higher for some programs, or B or higher for some programs, okay? We're happy to take your questions on specific programs you're interested in. One good thing that I want to mention very quickly is, for example, if you are in an IB curriculum school or a GCE curriculum school and you will be taking your A-levels, if you obtain the highest scores in physics, mathematics, chemistry subjects, then you can be exempt, to take the first semester courses, physics, maths, and chemistry courses at university. So that helps in terms of lowering your credit, your course load in the first semester, so that you have a more relaxed kind of first and second semester, if that helps, okay?
I just want to add to this that AWM study in Turkey as the official representative of Koç University in Pakistan. We guide students about applications, and we help them apply to the university, and we do not charge them any fee for this. So this is something very important because students sometimes they find it a little challenging to fill out the applications and go through the procedure. So we are here to help you, right? So you can contact us. I'll be writing down our information details for that. Miss Melissa, could you also tell us about the visa procedures and how do you get to Turkey and all of that to the students?
Great, yeah. So let me go back some slides. So I want to talk about a specific team that we have here at the university, right? Oh, yeah. So here at Koç, not all Turkish universities offer this. So this is important to remember. We have a team called International Community Services Office. It's a team of 3 staff members. They have a lot of experience and skills and preparation to basically help all international students with their pre-arrival procedures, their arrival procedures, and the kind of settling in and then integration activities into campus life. For now, I'll talk about the pre-arrival support that we offer. So before arrival, one of the most important things, of course, is obtaining your visa to enter Turkey. For this, we have a section in our online application form which asks if you need to obtain a visa to enter Turkey, because some students can be exempt from that, or they can enter with an easy to obtain tourist visa. So depending on your particular passport type and situation, then we provide that information to that team. And then if you do need to apply for a consular visa at the Turkish embassy or consulate closest to the city that you live in, Pakistan, then they send to that Turkish consulate or embassy a support, an official letter from the university, basically saying this student has been offered admission, please process their visa as soon as possible. And then they follow up over the phone, email, etc., as needed to make sure that you obtain your visa on time and that you can arrive here on time for the orientation activities that will happen usually at the end of September. Once you are here in Turkey, in Istanbul, and you have, you attend your first week of orientation, they will also provide a lot of information and one-on-one support on how to apply for the student residence permit. This is where the system is a bit different from the US or the UK. In that, for example, in the UK, you apply for a student visa, and once you're there, that's all you need to do. However, here in Turkey, you do need to apply for this other document called residence permit. And there are several documents that you need to prepare. So that team is going to make sure that, they will tell you how to make an appointment to go and provide those documents and obtain the permit. They will check your folder to make sure that all your documents are prepared and in the correct format. And then they will follow up in terms of receiving the actual permit card, which is sent to the university and handing it over. Anytime you have any questions related to bureaucratic procedures like this, they are a team that can be contacted by email. They have office hours, and they do kind of regular open desk sessions for people, new students to join. They also do a lot of fun activities with our international students to, help you discover Istanbul, meet other international students and Turkish students in terms of integrating into the local culture. And they have excellent online resources on their website, as well as guides and the orientation sessions that they will organize. So this is how it works. Thank you.
There's a question about how you can apply for a 75% or 100% scholarship. And as per my knowledge, you've already answered this question, that it's a holistic application, and they look at everything basically.
Yeah,
but
I wish I could answer
on that.
Yeah, I wish I could answer that more straightforwardly, to say, well, if you have this score, you will get that. I wish it could be as simple as that, but it is not. However, what I can tell you is what we see, right, is who got a 75% scholarship, who got 100% scholarship. And what we typically see, it's a combination of very high high school grades throughout, so that there has been a consistently excellent academic performance in the past 3 years of high school education, and especially in the key subjects according to what they want to study. So somebody who wants to study business administration and has consistently high or the top grades in social sciences, in economic mathematics, that plus a very good SAT or final predicted score from their IB or A levels, either being the top grade or just one grade below the top grade, that they have a very well written motivation letter that doesn't feel like a copy paste generic, anyone else could have written this kind of things, but it's a very authentic letter that expresses who they are, that have very good recommendation letters from their referees that point to a very focused, academically outstanding student. And people who also have a very good, not amount, because it's not about how many extracurricular achievements you have, but that have a clear, let's say this, how can I put this? For example, someone who wants to study engineer, showing that interest has already started to manifest itself in taking online courses, completing mini certificates on programming languages or specific skills, that have attended, boot camps, that have taken part in school activities related to computer engineering, for example, or engineering in general, that shows to the admissions committee that this person has made a clear decision about what they want to study and why, right? We also have students who have gotten 75%, 100% scholarships, having a very varied combination of extracurriculars, meaning that, they are a sport, a member of a sports team in their city or in their school, plus captain of a debate team, plus they have done online certificates in something completely unrelated. Even then we see that. But what's the first kind of part of the top scholarship awardees is that they have consistently top grades in their high school performance, plus a very good final, like total predicted score or an SAT, very high. Very high for us means anything above 1,450.
I think it was summed up very correctly earlier, that it is holistic but selective.
Yeah.
So so this is what we are also over here. If you want further support, and if you want further further help, we are here to help you. At AWM we specialize in this, so you can always talk to us about this. There's another question. Do you consider the local Pakistani board, the HSSC exam? Does Koç University consider that, and the result from the HSSC exam for the School of Medicine, for example?
At present, no. So it's not in our list of eligible admission exams that it's approved by our academic council. However, if you obtain very good scores in that examination, you are more than welcome to include them in your application as an additional supporting document so that the admission committee can also see that. But they will make their decision on the basis of one of the eligible test scores that you provide, either SAT or ACT.
So it has to be a combination of both in order to apply. I just want to also share with the students that for visas, AWM study in Turkey is recognized by the Turkish embassy and the consulates in Lahore and Karachi. So we offer support to our students when you want to apply for a visa, and we have a very good visa success ratio. So we are here to help you along with the university. We are here for the students. Miss Melissa, would you like to add something at the end? I think.
Yeah, I'm just checking to see some of the questions on the question and answer part. There was a question about if programs available in business and management or technology. So within business and management, the question that the program that encompasses that is our BA, Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration. Now, let me show you here. Let's go to, no, sorry, to go forward very quickly. Right. So, for example, within business administration, or if you are a student of the College of Administrative Sciences and Economic, you also have the chance to enroll in a specific track. Track means that you're going to take specific elective courses, and you're going to gain knowledge and skills related to a specific topic, whether that's entrepreneurship, business analytics, marketing, finance, competition and strategy, European study. I mean, it depends on what you're interested in. So that gives you a lot of flexibility. The other thing I want to mention is we as US universities offer a lot of freedom in terms of how you design your 4 years here. You're going to be a student in a specific major, business administration, but during those 4 years, as I said, you can do a track. You can do a double major, for example, in psychology, in mathematics, in something that you're interested in. Or you can do a minor. Minor means that you don't get a second diploma, a second degree, but you are going to have a specialization also in that, and it's going to be reflected in your transcripts. You can do 1 or 2 semesters of your 4-year program in one of our partner universities. For business students, this is a huge advantage, and most of them use that opportunity, and they go to very well-renowned business schools in Europe, for example, HEC Paris, to LSE, to, for example, in computer engineering, we have few spots, but we give them to the best students, for example, at Northwestern University in the US, to National University of Singapore. So it depends. So the opportunities are almost endless. It's about you being aware of them and using those opportunities. So
every student adds to the pathway that they pay for themselves. They have to put an effort for there, but the opportunity is there. We have a couple of new questions actually. Mahira has asked us that what are the consequences of not being able to learn the language?
It's a great question. I think you end up learning it whether you want it or not. But
and there's no consequence as such, right?
Yeah, there's no consequences, but I mean, what we see is that you just basically have a more reduced number of opportunities to in terms of your social circle, the friends you can make on campus, the opportunities, just being in the here's the main thing you need to know. When you go to study in a country like Germany, for example, most people, of course, everyone's native, residents, they speak German, but they also have a high level of proficiency in English. So if you go to the supermarket to buy bread, if you don't speak German, they will somehow understand what you want to say, that you want and have an interaction. In Turkey, even in Istanbul, even though it's a very big, cosmopolitan city, outside of the touristic areas, in a normal residential neighborhood you may be living in or near campus, you need to speak some Turkish in order to interact with people, because the level of proficiency in English is not as high as you would find in some other European countries. So this is why, again, in order to be independent and run your own errands and so on and so forth, it helps to learn Turkish. And it's not a difficult language to learn, to be honest. At first it's kind of hard, but once you start to learn,
but you do get it eventually. Yes,
you get.
I think Mahira wants to know that if it's that what is the consequence if they don't know Turkish by the 4th year of medicine?
Yeah.
I believe they have to take an exam, right? After the 4th year, yes, which is in Turkish.
It's in Turkish, so it's similar to a TOEFL test, that has a reading and writing and oral comprehension section. So it's basically to measure your level of proficiency in Turkish. If you fail to learn their language, it means that you're going to be held back and you cannot enroll in your 4th year medicine program courses until you can provide that certificate, that test score that says, yes, I have achieved a level of C1 that's in the European framework of languages, like proficiency in languages, an advanced level of proficiency in Turkish. Okay.
And then there's a question about, can you receive 100% scholarship without a SAT score on the basis of A levels and co-curriculars?
Yeah, so that's a great question, because we see sometimes Pakistani students are confused about this, in that you do not need to have both. Here's the thing. If you are in an A-level curriculum school and your predicted A-level grades that can be issued by your school are showing grades in 3A levels or more with grades of B or higher, this is for all programs except medicine, then you just apply with that. Apply with your predicted A-level scores and do the best you can in terms of your motivation letter, who you ask for recommendations, and providing all of your co-curricular information. Okay. Now, if you are in a national curriculum school or American, whatever, then you can apply with an SAT score. Now, if you're in an A-level school and you already know that your predicted scores are not going to be that great, they're not going to be A stars or A's or B's, they're going to be lower than that, then that's when we recommend that you apply with a good SAT score. Okay. But you do not need both at the time that you're applying in order to be considered for admission and for a scholarship as well. Okay.
Yes, and I just want to add, because this is some problem that students face, that they take Urdu, our language, as a subject. So does the university consider it as a subject, or it doesn't? You need 3 subjects apart from Urdu, or should Urdu be a part of those 3 subjects? That is something, please, I'd like you to clarify it.
Yeah. So Urdu is not counted in the 3A levels that are eligible for evaluation for admission. Okay. So that's an extra. That's a 4th, basically, in the way that is counted. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mehreen has 2 questions. A, she wants to know about the work opportunities while you are at the university, while you're studying, and then if students can join for short courses or certificates after A levels. So there are 2 different questions.
Okay. So for the first one, it's very important. The student residence permit that you obtain once you're in Turkey in a Turkish university, whether it's Koç or any other university, doesn't allow you to work. Okay. What it means is that you're here to be a student and be dedicated full-time to your studies. However, if you are able to find a paid internship or a part-time job that it's remunerated, the company who is hiring you is supposed to obtain a work permit. So we talked about student permit, and they have to obtain a work permit so that you are legally allowed to work in Turkey. Most employers, especially if they're small companies or individual companies or things like that, family companies, they are not going to be willing to, invest in international students because of not so much the cost of the work permit, but the paperwork involved in this, okay? And especially because these may not be for long-term employment contracts, they may be for a semester or a year or so on. What we see is that international students, at least in our university, what they do is that they work part-time, for example, doing freelance or remote jobs that they can do with, you know, like employers worldwide in Pakistan or other countries that they can do over the internet, essentially. And they can receive remuneration for that through like PayPal accounts or, you know, other forms of payment. And that's how they kind of complement their budget for living expenses here. So one very important thing to consider is that you shouldn't count on coming here and then applying for a job either on campus or off campus, because it is possible, but it is difficult. And it's even more difficult if you don't speak Turkish. So that's one thing to keep in mind. For example, the students who do summer internships during the summer break, which is about 3 months, they typically would do these internships, for example, in larger companies that have a need for English speakers or even Urdu speakers, for example, in Turkey, or they may do an internship through the Erasmus program in a company in Europe, in another European country, or back home, for example, in Pakistan. But that's you know, that's how we see our students are managing in terms of their time and budget with regards to work opportunities. Now, what happens?
And I think, sorry, please continue. I thought you were done.
That's okay. Because the next question that I see here, which is from Miriam, it's about work opportunities after graduation and how long can you work after graduation, right? So the law here says that with a student residence permit, you can extend the duration of that student residence permit for up to a year in order to look for a job, look for an internship, or apply and start another, you know, master's program or PhD program in a Turkish university, okay? But again, it's not easy. If you're interested, for example, in a big difference is whether you can speak Turkish again or not. So if you over 4 years have been able to learn Turkish well enough that you can be considered nearly fluent, especially in writing and oral communications, and there's a lot of opportunities here for Urdu speakers, for English speakers, in different industries, depending on what you want to do. But it is not as easy as in other destinations, so you should keep that in mind. Our international students, they usually, you know, they use Koç University as their springboard to an even better academic placement afterwards. So most of our students are very research oriented. So after graduation, they want to continue to, about 60% of them, they want to continue to a master's program. And that's where we see our international students go to MIT, go to Harvard, go to Caltech, go to Sciences Po, go to LSE, go to so on and so forth. So they, you know, this is their stepping stone, their step basically to a even more prestigious academic institution after graduation.
And I'd just like to share something here that, when earlier you mentioned that Koç is a foundation university, like all private universities, they're not private universities in Turkey. So Koç has been established by one of the Fortune 500 companies of the world, which is Koç Industries. It's a very, very popular and one of Turkey's main business conglomerate. So this has something to say about the university and career opportunities in the future also. And earlier, as I was saying, Ms. Melissa, that students compare Turkey with UK or the USA, and they feel that they're very flexible with student work opportunities. But then you also have to see that Turkey is not as expensive as the US and the UK. So it is cheaper for parents to also afford your higher education and your living in Turkey as compared to other countries. So let's move on to this other question that Maureen asked. She was asking about short courses or certificates that you can join after A-levels.
I mean, we do have summer programs and winter programs, but those are offered for students who are currently enrolled in high school. So if you have already completed your high school education, meaning you have taken your A-level exams, you wouldn't be eligible for those courses, unfortunately. We also have short courses, which are for professionals who are already working kind of full time. So that's not either a good kind of fit. So unfortunately, we don't offer much in the way of that.
So if you are in A1 currently, maybe you could go over this summer and join the winter school, or the summer school, or in the winter you could join the winter school. Exactly. So I think then there is Mahira is also asking that what A-level subjects are required to study medicine.
Yes, so for medicine, one of the A-level subjects should be mathematics, because even though you're going to study medicine, you will have some numerical, some courses where you need to have a good grasp of at least statistics and some algebra. So mathematics is one. The other two, we usually see a combination of biology and chemistry, or biology and physics, or physics and chemistry. So it's typically maths, biology, physics, and chemistry. That would be the ideal combination of A-level subjects.
So I think she's also asked again that, is it okay if a student has biology, chemistry, and psychology to study medicine?
Okay. You would also need mathematics, or some type of mathematics when you apply. Yeah. I mean, the psychology is a nice addition, but one of the required courses for every course, I mean, medicine, engineering, psychology, everything, it's mathematics.
Mathematics. So there's a lot of stress that the university places on mathematics. Yeah. Umar Habib says that he understands Turkish language a little bit, and if he wants to apply to a Turkish taught program, what is the language level, and what is the language level, and how can he get a language certificate in Pakistan?
Right. I feel this question is not so much for us as Koç University, because we don't offer Turkish taught programs. The only program is medicine, that it's both in English and Turkish for the clinical part. But all of the programs that I showed before, they're only taught in English. We don't have Turkish taught programs. However, other universities in Turkey, they do sometimes, for example, have business administration in English, business administration in Turkish, computer engineering in English, computer engineering in Turkish. For those universities, typically you would try to find, in terms of learning Turkish and demonstrating your proficiency level, either the Yunus Emre Institute. I'm going to ask
Yunus Emre,
Alina, who is monitoring the chat, to put the name of the institute there.
I am also I'm also studying Turkish from Yunus Emre. So yes, it's a very helpful institute for that purpose. You're right. Yeah,
exactly. And they have online resources. They also have like structured classes, as far as I know. So it would be about checking what are they offering specifically in Pakistan. So this is more if you're interested in applying to a state university in Turkey, for example, that offers programs in Turkish, or some foundation universities, private foundation universities that have programs in both English and Turkish.
So, another student asked us that, are there any paid internships in the university during summer or winter break?
There are not that many, but there are. For example, with our team, we do work with international students during the summer break. So meaning from end of June until about mid to end of August, to basically help us do promotional activities and marketing activities on campus for visitors. So we have open days, we have guided campus tours. So we have international students who work with us, and we pay them for that. There are other teams that may also hire students during the semesters, but the opportunities are not that many, okay, in administrative tasks. So,
so when does the admission or application process start for medicine program 2024? When is the best time to apply?
So the applications will open on the 1st of May 2024, as they did this year. The closing date hasn't been agreed yet, but it typically would be end of July, so 31st of July or 30th of July. So yeah.
Okay. And again, the same question, we've got it twice, this question that, is mathematics required subject for medicine? What if a student does not keep it as a subject? How badly would it affect a scholarship or admissions?
Very badly. You would be rejected. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the required A levels. So yeah. And also
so you have
students, so yeah.
So you should, it is absolutely compulsory to have mathematics in A levels if you want to apply to School of Medicine. By the way, I just want to add that the School of Medicine is one of the most competitive schools in Koch, and it is of course difficult. So you should have a very, very good profile for that. I think the two questions about mathematics have been answered. Eliza says that if she has a C in maths and if she's got A's in both biology and chemistry, is she eligible for medicine?
No, because the minimum grade across subjects is A, basically. And again, we've had situations where students apply with their predicted grades, where they're A's or A stars, and the final grades are below. Especially the past 2 years, we have seen, there's a big difference between predicted and final grades. So in those situations, each individual case is sent again back to the School of Medicine admissions committee for them to evaluate if they want to still allow enrollment of the student, even if their final grades were below the predicted ones, based on the other elements of their application. So if they still think this is a great student because of their extracurriculars, their references, motivation, video, etc., they may allow that. It may not happen, so it's not guaranteed. Okay.
So Mariam has a question. Mariam,
I'm so sorry. One thing I want to clarify about maths, and you may think, why are they asking about math if I'm going to be a doctor? For example, we have now made it a compulsory subject for our medicine students to take an introduction to programming with Python language as part of the medicine program. And you may think, why? Well, as a doctor, in the next 20 years, you will be required to maybe not program every day, but to very much understand computer science to a degree, because your work will be assisted, in some cases diminished, by things like artificial intelligence and so on and so forth. So you will take some courses in the first and second year that are statistics, that are calculus, but also as part of your future activities as a doctor, you will see the importance of this growing each year. So it's not a random kind of
yes, no, but of course the world is changing. Yes, but the world is changing, and we are becoming, our technology is changing every day, so we have to be equipped for that. So Mariam has a question about, she's saying, I want to ask if there's any specific classroom for just international students, or if the professors are the same, as in most of the universities, they enroll 200 to 300 students in one classroom. So I think basically she wants to know about the teacher-student ratio.
Yeah. So there are no separate classrooms for international and domestic students. Everyone is sitting in the same classroom. The Turkish students that you would be sitting in the same classroom with, most of them have gone through a year to a year and a half of English leveling kind of preparation courses, so that, because they have the right preparation to have been admitted to the university in terms of their maths and their verbal and logical analysis abilities, but their English, because they studied in Turkish, their English might not be great. So on the same classroom, you're going to be with students from Turkey, as well as other international students. In terms of the teachers, they're the same. They're the very highly qualified professors. In terms of the classroom sizes, the first year courses, specifically in calculus and physics, are going to be large. You're going to find about 100 to 150 students, and they are divided by sections. Okay, so each section is going to have about 50 to maximum 60 students. I think that's the highest. As you go into your second, third, and so on semesters, you will find that the class sizes start to get small and small and small. Okay, so it is, as I said, it's small classroom sizes for most subjects, except for calculus 106 and physics 102. That's where you see the biggest number of students. Okay.
Sayed Ayman, I think has the same question, that there are scholarship programs for international students. I think we've already addressed it, that Koç University offers scholarships up to 100%. And Mahira has again asked us about A star in O-level mathematics. Unfortunately, Mahira, you should have maths in A levels as well. Only O-level maths is not important, is not considered. What is the fee for medicine program?
This is one situation where this is where we would advise students. Well, if you haven't taken A-level maths and you're not gonna take it, then complement your application by having a very good SAT test score, especially in the math section, with a score as close to 800, that's the top score in the math section, as you can, because that's when it makes sense to also include an SAT test score if you have A or A star grades in chemistry, biology, physics, psychology, but you didn't take maths. That's where it makes sense to prepare for and take the SAT. What we also see is that students typically, since you have been more trained in the A-level system, the first time you take the SAT, you may not get the best score you can. So you should prepare your plan so that you're able to take it at least twice in case you don't get the best score you can in the first attempt. Usually in the second attempt, the students are more relaxed. They understand better the format of the timing for each question and so on, and they do better, especially in the math section. So, yeah.
So yes, for Mahira, if you plan to, sorry, I think I lost you in the middle. So for Mahira, if you plan to apply, then you should take the SAT exam and try to score a good score in the math section of it in order to qualify for the School of Medicine. We have a question about the tuition fee for the medicine program.
Yeah, so I'll show it here. Right, okay. So our tuition for all colleges or faculties except medicine is $21,500 USD per academic year, meaning 2 semesters, fall and spring. For medicine is $5,000 per year as well. Oops, sorry, let me just go back here. There are scholarships. Let me go back to the scholarships slide. So we do have scholarship for Pakistani students. I mean, for all international students, including Pakistani students, which can be 100%, 75%, 50%, or 25%. However, we do not have scholarships for medicine, and this is something you should also keep in mind if you decide to apply to Koç University for medicine specifically.
So do they require some other entrance exam, School of Medicine? Another student's asking this question, or you're only looking at the K-12 marks?
As I said before, like we're looking at the year 10, 11, and 12 marks, and they should have, if this student, for example, it's in an A-level or IB school, that's okay, that's enough. If they're not, then they should have an SAT test score of 1,450 or higher, or an ACT test score of 38 or higher.
Okay. Mariam Javed wants to know that if she can get any benefits if with a Mavi card.
Okay, I think that's a bit, okay, you're a bit confused. Mavi card refers to citizens of Turkey who have, for example, people who have double citizenship, one of which is Turkish citizenship by birth. And in order for them to be allowed to enroll in a Turkish university as an international student, they have to give up their Turkish citizenship. Okay, that's a rule from the government. So if you have Turkish citizenship, not by birth, but because, for example, your family has invested in Turkey in property or a business or something, you don't need to give up your Turkish citizenship. Therefore, you don't need to get a Mavi card. Okay. The only benefit of having Turkish citizenship as a Pakistani student is that you can pay your tuition in Turkish lira instead of dollars. Okay. There are some student discounts that are offered by the government and the like Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality in terms of transportation. For that, you just go and apply as a student saying, I'm enrolled in a Turkish university as a student. So you get a specific transport card, which offers you a discounted rate per trip. There's no discounts for food or accommodation as far as I'm aware. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of information online from our website that you can check in terms of more affordable options for food, more affordable options for accommodation. We pair all of our international students with an international buddy, which can be a Turkish or international students, and usually they help them a lot in that pre-arrival and first couple of weeks to find accommodation, to know where to eat, where to find cheaper X, Y, or Z. So yeah.
So Sayed Ayman wants to know that is there a scholarship for School of Dentistry?
We don't have a school of dentistry. I invite you to check other Turkish universities that have dentistry programs in English. They also have pharmacy and so on. In terms of health sciences, what Koç offers is medicine and nursing. And nursing is a program that we really want to have more international students. It's a major with huge career opportunities in the US, in Germany, in Japan, in lots of, very developed kind of rich countries with huge, very good salary prospects, and not a lot of people consider them, which is a shame.
Yeah, because unfortunately in Pakistan also there's this social stigma about nursing, which I feel the picture, because over here it's not considered to be as honorable as it is in the other parts of the world, which again, as you said, is a shame. So Alicia, yeah, it is. So Alicia wants to know that does the scholarship is the scholarship provided only on the basis of grades, or are you considering other activities? I think you've answered this 2-3 times, that you're looking at the complete picture at both the grades and your extracurricular curricular activities. So Mariam also wants to know that can she teach English language as a part-time job at the university to other international students who are not really good in English, or to guide them about tourism, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, again, these are more kind of informal jobs that you can do, and there's places where you can post your services that you want to, you can offer your English teaching as a tutor. Sometimes, for example, professors look not so much for tutors, but for like play friends for their children so that they can practice English. Or nannies, for example. We have faculty housing on campus, so the professors who live on campus with their families sometimes look for international students to, play for 2 hours with their children and in English, or teach them English and so on. So those are opportunities that are also available. But as I said, most students are looking right now at kind of freelance things they can do online.
Yes.
I think
so I think we've answered quite a few questions. Thank you so much, Miss Melissa, for being here today and taking out time for our students in Pakistan.
Great. I just want to thank you because with AWM we have been working for a number of years, and we're very happy with the students that we have come across thanks to AWM. We look forward to visiting Pakistan in the near future and meeting some of you who joined us today face-to-face, hopefully. We love when we are able to meet people in person, especially after the pandemic. If you want to know more, first place to check is our website, of course, international.ku.edu.tr. You can also contact us, or AWM. If you want to contact us, you can mention that you have been in touch with Sarah and her team at AWM. And of course, we're on social media. Please check our YouTube channel, because there's a lot of very useful information there, not only about Koç University, but about, coming to Turkey as an international student. And now we have a TikTok account, which is great. It's run by our international students. So I invite you to check it out and let us know what you think as well. So that's how
I would definitely advise them to check out the TikTok account, because it has wonderful videos of the campus. It's one of the most beautiful and green campuses in Turkey, in Istanbul. So see you soon, inshallah, and have a great evening.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for joining today. I know it's a bit late.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.